office-based. On the other hand, we are saying that if we are building an education system from early childhood development up to tertiary level, you need to start somewhere. Yes. You need to start at the basics. You need to invest in early childhood education. You need to invest in pre-primary. You need to address issues of learning poverty, where at least 7 out of 10 children in Namibia, 10 years old, they cannot read a comprehensive English text or do the basic mathematics. And we are saying, let's start with the basics, let's bring the foundation to a much stronger level, and then build on that foundation towards excellence.
Having said that, Honorable, how does the ministry plans to address the challenges at early grade levels?
So you first have to know what is the problem. We know now, we've made a grade 3 assessment. We know now that there are, across the 14 regions, the situation does not look good with the grade 3 learners in terms of reading and basic numeracy. So we've started off a few years ago with continuous professional development of our teachers from pre-grade up to grade 3 teachers. We've started with capacitating and enhancing the learning and the monitoring and evaluation of our head of departments. So what we are saying is there are jollyphonics, there are specific courses, there's the teaching at the right level, there are various intervention strategies. Early grade reading that we are doing, early grade mathematic measures and strategies that we're putting, mechanisms that we're putting in place, all that have already been developed in the mother tongue, but also in English. So our focus is to make sure that we need to address the end of learning poverty, where children cannot read or write. If we build that foundation and if we invest, as I said earlier, correctly in that, through our teachers, but also encouraging our parents to take a role in ensuring that the child is exposed to reading and appropriate reading material at home, I think we can go quite far.
Okay. And then on that note, what are your expectations as a ministry for the school's leadership, like principals in 2026?
The principal fulfill a critical role along with a school management and the school boards. We cannot deny that a principal is in a position of authority. A principal has got power, and therefore the principal must use that authority in the best way possible, enforcing policies and also implementing the policies of the state, but ensuring that the decisions that they are making around school finances, around class teaching, around vacation schools for our learners, around improving the quality of learning, they have the means to induct, and they must get the support from the inspectors and the regional directorate. So our principals are key in the sense that they must use their authority well. And they must reach out to the parents and the communities. And I want to be very clear that our principals must understand they have to be accessible for their communities, for their learners, but also for the parents. We have to make the time. We know how busy it is. We know that we have expectations of principals also teaching a certain percentage. That is to show, and we have principals who are doing excellent when they teach. So it is to have that whole comprehensive enforcement of discipline, enforcing a great culture at the school, a culture of care, a culture of proper communication, and working as an inclusive partner with everyone in the community.
That's great. Any message to the teachers and educators this year?
Our teachers, I always say it and I'll repeat it at this platform, our teachers, you are our greatest resource. The teacher is such a role model for our learners coming to school for the very first time. And we believe in our teachers. And I know that the teachers have the means to make sure that quality teaching, that time afforded for teaching, I expect of our teachers to be present physically, but also psychologically, and to be very well prepared to give the learner what is required, to share the knowledge, but also to ensure that discipline is enforced. And that's a tough order for our teachers, because discipline should not just start at the school level. Discipline must already be fostered at home, and we enforce it further at school level with the greatest of respect.
Okay. Parents play an integral part in the success of learners. And how can they contribute to a successful academic year?
Let me start by thanking Grace, our parents. Do you know, we started off 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks ago, there were parents who already, right throughout the year, they made sure that their children's needs were met. That is amazing. And we really, really appreciate that. I also wish to state that we are very, very grateful to our parents for making sure. This morning I was at Hoogland High at 6:15. There were children safe, well-groomed at school. Already 6:15 in the morning. How can we not be grateful to our parents? They go out of their way. But a parent fulfills a critical role in the life of the child. It's the first person where the child gets to understand that I'm loved, I'm valued, I'm worthy, I'm a person. I'm a part of my parent and my family. The parent is also the first educator, and we should never forget that. Parents should enforce discipline at home, and it should start with a child making their own beds.
Yes.
If it is to roll up and fold my mattress, if it is to fold my blankets, to puff my pillow, but to start with little chores where the child is taught discipline, and it must be enhanced. So it's important that parents understand that discipline extended to the school, but it starts at home. And the child needs routine, and a child needs structure. If our parents for the year 2026 can help us all with that, it's already a lot being accomplished.
You've spoken to the teachers, the principals, the leadership of the schools. What is your message to the learners directly?
I have 3 key messages to the learners. The first one is to start with the very basic things in life. I go back to our theme, foundation first, excellence always. The first thing we do is respect ourselves. And we extend that respect also to our parents, our community members, and our teachers. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to be disciplined. It's the most difficult thing to be self-disciplined. But if it is fostered with time, if you create a habit of waking up early, making your bed, grooming yourself, making sure that you make time to read, making sure that you spend time with friends only, who adds value to your life, discipline is formed. So, and the last one is for the children to understand there are no shortcuts in life. You have to work for what you want to get. And there's no shame in honest, hard work. So I want learners also to understand that academics is not everything. We've got a TVET system that is well respected, and we must change the narrative. So, and I want every child to understand that they are worthy. And my plea is that children will understand grace, that they are worthy and nobody can take it away from them. And they must not take their lives. They must reach out to those that they trust, a pastor, a parent, or a teacher, anyone that they can trust to support them through difficult times.
A very important message there. The issue of admission fairness has been emphasized on. Why is this important?
As an education sector, you plan on an annual basis. You construct classrooms, you build schools, and you have a policy in place that say by June, July, by September, the latest of the previous year, the parents must know where my child is going to school. So for example, in September 2025, parents were already supposed to know, my child has got a place in the school, and it happened with many parents. Admission is an important part, and we have set up, important part of our ministry, we've set up admission committees in our regions, in our circuits offices, and also at the school level. An admission committee must look at the applications received, and children must be placed according to the spaces that are available and also to the fields of study or the languages for the grade 1. It depends on the language group that the child will take. Now, it has come to our attention that because of parents experiencing anxiety, they may offer gifts, be it monetary terms or something else, and request for a favor of the child to be placed. Yeah. We are a government that is responsible to make sure that every child is placed. We also have the responsibility of the parents to ensure that applications have been made so that we do not have a crisis every single year with admission placement. So my message to the education fraternity is unambiguous. It's clear that nobody should take any form of bribe or a gift in order to return that with a favor to find a child a school. We will find the children school. There are still children not in school. And we still have parents that put tremendous pressure on the regional directorates and the admission committees simply because many parents are moving. Yes. They're moving from one town to another. So automatically you are increasing the number of learners. And for that, people need to plan. Just this morning, they're busy delivering tents to some schools in Khomas because Khomas does not want to do the platoon system. And we understand why not. There's a reason why we don't want to do platoon, but we are forced. So now the tent option has become one that we can explore and that is being explored, while we also ensure that the construction that we currently are busy with are completed in a given time frame.
Thank you for staying with us. We are in conversation with the Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, Honorable Sanet Steenkamp, talking to us about Back to School academic year 2026. Now, Honorable, what are the ministry's key priorities for improving education infrastructure in Namibia?
We have so you get your budget ceiling that is specifically assigned for capital projects or for basic education facilities. That is when you send the money for basic construction of toilets, classrooms, and also for renovation to the regions. That is happening. But you also have an accelerated infrastructure development plan where we are saying that for this year, the concentration is, for example, sanitation, water, also electricity, and then the construction of classrooms or basic other basic facilities at a school. And then you have your capital projects. So there's quite a lot that's going on. They're currently across the regions, there are schools being constructed. We have the Cuba school right now in Khomas that already take in 800 learners. There are already teachers appointed as well as principals. So you can't also appoint teachers if we do not have the facilities to teach. So there is a plan every single year on the construction. What we need to go back to is to see when we allocate to the regions the number of classrooms that they can construct. Many regions, like in the case of Inanna or Hangwena, as well as Khomas, they take that money. Same happened in Rehoboth, in Hardap region. They take that money and they put together one school in one area serving the community. So there are deliberate efforts by the government to ensure that the gap of the makeshift classrooms that we have and the permanent classrooms are reduced so that we have more accessible permanent classrooms for our learners.
That is great. Talking about innovation, how is this integrated in our education system?
What does innovation mean? Innovation means doing things differently. So one of the things that we do, we know that we have at our universities, every university have a hub, a creative hub, innovation hub, but we also have the creative industries that are now going to, with time, set up different hubs, either at existing infrastructure already in the regions or a different facility. But in terms of education, we are definitely rolling out much more in terms of digital learning. There are many of the schools that are really making use of the digital interactive smart boards that we've provided. We have mentioned yesterday that we are also rolling out to every single region 6 laboratory labs. And that is purely with the latest IT equipment.
Okay.
So that is happening. Of course, there's much more that can be done. We are constrained a little bit with procurement processes, but that has also come to an end now, and we will be able to roll it out much better in the year 2026.
Okay, that is good news. Does the ministry's focus extend beyond traditional classroom learning?
Absolutely. Learning take place under a tree. Learning take place in the theatre. Learning take place on the sports field. Discipline is enforced in the creative industry with different artists offering what they have. So you have got the creative industry space, but you also have youth empowerment projects, and you have youth credit schemes in every constituency, and I want the youth to take note of that. There's a lot of training that's happening, but then also, of course, on the sports field, be it at the school where children are playing on the most basic sports fields, learning is taking place. So you can see that there is the holistic development of a whole person's being. And that is what the ministry is responsible for. So basically we are saying out of the 7 key development agenda areas in our country, MASAC, the Ministry of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, 4 of those fall in our ambit. And that is, of course, your sports development, your youth empowerment, the creative industries, and quality education. So learning takes place in all those different spheres with different people. We must just open ourselves for that.
Okay. Honorable, we have come to the end of our conversation. What is your overall outlook for the academic year 2026?
I wish to see a lot of improvement in how we do things in our offices. The decision making that we are having, those structured decision making, must be evidence-based and well informed. We must start planning at a much better rate and execute much faster. But most importantly, I'm calling about in every stakeholder, not just to be caught up in the hype of the academic year in the first 2 weeks, in the first month of January. Walk the path with us. Come to our parent meetings, give your input, support us when we have resources on the table. Take our hands and walk the path with us so that every child might and must find meaning and must feel that they are worthy and that they deserve the education that they get, and it's the best education ever. That is what I want to see. We can't do it alone. We need every parent, every community member, everyone in the private sector, and everyone in the public service to give what they can, and that is the best only. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your time. This was a very insightful conversation on the topic of Back to School Academic Year 2026.
Thank you very much, Grace, for having me.
That concludes our time together this morning. From us here at the studios, it's goodbye.